I'm Anne-Marie from brambleberry.com. Thank you so much for watching me today. I am going to show you how to make this luxurious facial cleansing bar. Now, what makes it a facial cleansing bar as opposed to, say, just any old soap? Well, the ingredients we chose. For this recipe, we chose some luxurious, skin-loving ingredients and additives. In addition to that, there's no fragrance and there's no essential oil added. One of the ingredients that makes up a large percentage of this soap is hemp seed oil. Now, you may be wondering, why is it this color? Well, to preserve the skin-loving nature of the hemp seed oil, we are using unrefined hemp seed oil, which means it hasn't been bleached, it hasn't been deodorized, and it keeps all of its valuable vitamins and minerals intact, which help make this bar extra conditioning. It has a really nice nutty smell, and since we're not using any essential oils or fragrance in this bar of soap, that does add to the warmth of the soap. So you might be wondering, all right, well, this is from hemp, like that's where the drug comes from, right? Marijuana, CBD, THC. Yes and no. This is called hemp seed oil. That's because hemp seed oil is gotten by pressing the seeds. In this case, it's literally cold pressing the seeds to get this oil, whereas THC and CBD come from the stems and the leaves of the hemp plant. So two totally different products, no active CBD, no active THC in this product. Now, of course, if you wanted to add CBD, you could totally add CBD oil to make this into a CBD facial bar, but for us, we left it just plain with the skin-loving goodness of the hemp seed oil and jojoba oil. Jojoba oil is actually a liquid wax. It's very close to the sebum, which is just a fancy word to describe kind of the oils and waxes on your skin. It's very close to the sebum-like nature on your skin. And so because of that, it makes a fantastic ingredient in your soap products. But being a liquid wax, you want to make sure that you're using it usually at about 10% or below, or else it can make a soft and sticky bar. These two ingredients are matched up with some extra skin-loving oil, olive oil, classic for skincare. Because of the ingredients used in here, this bar will just get better with age. In 1 year, I guarantee you it's going to be even better than it is in 6 weeks. But not to worry, you can use it right away, of course, after that 6-week cure time. Some other things we added: aloe vera concentrate at thin trace, some kale and clay in there, which provides a little bit of extra cleansing and scrubbiness for your face without drying, and of course some spinach powder to make the natural green and add just a little bit of exfoliation and texture. Most important part of soap making is always suiting up for safety. You get one set of eyes, so get real serious about what you're going to put over your face. Well-ventilated area, kids and pets out of the way. You got like 30-45 minutes to make your soap. We're ready to go. You'll notice this is already a really gorgeous, kind of nutty, beautiful green because of the unrefined hemp seed oil. It smells warm. It's amazing. Got my lye water already mixed. And so now all I'm going to do, because there is absolutely no essential oil going into here. And by the way, if you wanted to do an essential oil, I would do a skin-loving essential oil like lavender or clary sage or petitgreen or rose essential oil, or even maybe a little patchouli. But I would definitely nothing real strong, because this is supposed to be a facial bar. But you guys, it's soap. You can use it all over your body. It would make an amazing sensitive skin bar as well. So keep that in mind. So I'm just doing 2 teaspoons of my spinach powder, and I'm just gonna blend it in once I add my lye water in. Gonna trap all the powder with I guess it's the head of my stick blender to get all the clumps out. Then I'm doing a full tablespoon of kale and clay. And again, that kale and clay really helps with the cleansing ability, gives it a little bit of texture, and then also, of course, helps with a little bit of oil reduction without really drying the skin. So now I've got the head of my stick blender, and I'm trying to get all the bubbles out because I don't want to be putting bubbles into my soap. So I'm just getting all the bubbles out, and I've got almost all of that powder trapped. So I'm just going to give it a quick spin. Get some of the powder just dispersed in here. And now that that's done, I'm going to start adding my lye water slowly and gently. And And of course, since I am using a silicone liner, I put a little bit of sodium lactate in here just so that soap would pop out quickly, but don't worry, you don't need to if you don't want to. But if you don't use sodium lactate, the soap will probably sit in your silicone liner for a few extra days. So it's the Brambleberry 2-pound mold, which I love because it really produces a pretty gorgeous bar, and I like how it feels in the hand. I'm gonna go for a pretty thick trace because I really want to get that design on top. So I'm at a pretty good trace right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my aloe vera concentrate now. And the reason I'm adding it at thin trace is because there is a theory that once all the lye and the oil molecules have done their dance and they've mated, the lye is no longer dangerous and corrosive to really delicate ingredients like the aloe vera concentrate. Just in case that's actually true, I do this at kind of a thin to medium trace to add that last bit of gorgeously beautiful skin loving ingredient. So I'm just gonna do an ounce in here. And I did water discount by a full ounce just to make sure that my soap didn't end up having too much liquids in it. So I'm gonna do that by weight because soap making is a science, and so everything we do is by weight. So 1 ounce of this aloe vera concentrate from Brambleberry going in. And then I'm just gonna stick blend and keep stick blending. I'm gonna take it off my scale though, because tip that right over, that'd be a big mess. So I'm just gonna keep blending until I get to that nice thick trace. And whenever you're stick blending, make sure you kind of are moving your stick blender around because you don't want to just stick blend in one place. You want the whole thing to be homogeneous. This is looking pretty good, looking gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is just pour it into my mold so that way it pours really smoothly and evenly. And since I'm not positive it's going to give me quite the peaks and valleys I want, I might just have to wait for just a couple minutes to let it kind of be manipulated, the soap batter. But it is just gorgeous. I love how it looks. I'm going to scrape all of it out, not waste one single little drop of this gorgeously functional, skin-loving recipe. I can smell the warmth really beautifully from that hemp seed oil that's coming through. And now what I can do is kind of just give this a little, just give it a little nudge and see how we're doing here. This is not gonna stay, but we're close. I'm also making a mess. So now I'm just gonna go and I'm taking, this is like, I don't know what this is, a sugar spoon. I feel like there's like a special word for it, like a Diamatisse spoon or something. Someone correct me in the comments. It's like some sort of fancy word for small spoon. And I'm just using that to make my texture. So when this comes out, it'll look just like this. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put this to the side. I'm probably gonna force gel phase so it's an even thing. So just put it on a heating pad for low for about an hour or two. And then I'm gonna let it sit for 2-ish days before getting it ready to unmold. And now it's time to unmold. I love this mold because it's so easy. We make these right here in Bellingham, Washington in our woodworking studio. And you can pull, you can either try and push, like let gravity work, but that's not happening. So I just push from the bottom into the silicone liner. I love these silicone liners. They make it so easy just to prepare a batch of soap without having to line the mold with wax paper or freezer paper or parchment paper. Be really careful when I'm unmolding though, because I want to make sure that my corners stay beautiful and crisp. This soap was just made a couple days ago and it unmolded gorgeously. I can see some of the spinach in there. It's really, really pretty. And I love how the texture on top looks. Everything about this says luxurious skincare to me. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it. And I am cutting with a non-serrated knife. You can also use, of course, the wire multi-bar cutter from Brambleberry. And I'm gonna see what happened with our gel phase here. That's always a $1 million question. Looks like we hit a really, really fantastic even temperature in here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these just a little bit chunky because one of the nice things about this recipe is it'll sit beside someone's, where they wash their face. And since they won't be using it on their body, it's going to last a really long time. And this recipe is so fantastic. As I mentioned earlier, it's just going to get better and better with time because of the ingredients that are in it. So with this particular soap, just let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks to make sure it cures out really beautifully, and then it's ready to sell, give away, or use yourself. Make sure when you're doing your soap making and putting it up online, you hashtag it, hashtag BrambleOn, because we love to see what you create. And of course, thanks so much for watching today. Thanks for being part of our community. And until next time, happy soaping. I want to keep playing. I don't understand why you're not letting me. My producer's being so mean. Okay, fine.